Hello, everyone. Welcome to Decoding Downtowns, brought to you by Vistity. In this podcast, we dive deep with leaders from business improvement districts across the nation, revealing the strategies that are shaping the future of urban development and economic growth. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. It's Jamie Schwartzman. Today we have something a little different, which is exciting. We're going to meet with Rob Parker. He's the president and CEO of Trilith Development, the town at Trilith. It's a very interesting development adjacent to one of the largest studio production facilities in the world, and he'll tell us a little bit more about it. Rob, how are you today?
Doing great, Jamie. Great to be with you.
Well, welcome to the podcast. You better give us a good briefing and tell us what Trilith is all about.
You bet. Love to do that. So Trilith started out as a studio, and there are tax credits in Georgia that kind of incentivized Georgia to become a film and television mecca. Atlanta area was already pretty steeped in media, but with Tyler Perry here, with Ted Turner and CNN and a whole bunch of other things, Turner Sports, but really not into film and television. So 10 years ago, we're celebrating our 10th year. Trilith Studios was established originally as a partnership. It was called Pinewood Studios, Pinewood out of London, which is the Hollywood for Europe. And about 3 years into the project, we realized it became very clear that we needed workforce housing. We needed a place for all of this film and television that was being filmed for people to live. And so we created the town at Trilith, and I'm excited to tell you about it.
Well, so what's the town like? What's there?
Yeah, so we were given a blank sheet and said, listen, you got 235 acres, and if you were building a town, what would you build? So we literally set out on a journey that landed us, quite frankly, in Seaside on 30A in Florida, Seaside, Rosemary Beach, Alice Beach, these walkable new urbanist communities. We knew that our clientele, our group was coming from California, from New York, from Austin, from London. We had a pretty good sense of these creatives, artists, storytellers, what they were wired for. We were influenced by things like South by Southwest in Austin and the Sundance Film Festival. And we really went to places and said, what's the vibe that we're looking for creatives? And so we created this 235-acre walkable European-inspired village, remarkably dense for the area that we're in. We're in a pretty rural environment, coming down a 2-lane road to get to us, and it's been remarkable. Incredible commitment to environmental sustainability. All of our homes are geothermal. We use the earth to heat and cool the homes. Pretty remarkable design and architecture and commitment to placemaking. Ultimately, I would say the difference between what we're doing and what maybe has been with other company towns is we didn't just create workforce housing, we created an whole ecosystem. Quite frankly, Jamie, if I were to describe it this way, I would say we wanted to create an environment where creatives in particular could thrive and flourish and tell their best stories and live their best lives. And that's what you would see here at Trilith.
Sounds like my kind of place.
I think you would enjoy it.
So tell me about the development and how far in you are and what you got done and what's up ahead.
Yeah, so 7 years ago, we pushed up the first wall on our residential, and we started with our residential homes. We're about 320 homes in, which is about 50% of what we're the 750 homes that we're building. And then simultaneously started on the town center, which is really important to us. If you're going to have walkability, you better have some place to walk to that matters. And it has become our primary amenity. And so we will have ultimately 600 multifamily units. We have 263 right now. That is 3 stories above ground floor retail. So if you can just imagine that place that you'd love to go on the weekends and walk, narrow streets, 75 feet face to face, that kind of the way, quite frankly, we love towns at human scale, and incredibly interesting restaurants and shops. And so we're about 50%, I would say, with our town center. And so you've got 7 food concepts. You've got some great retail, an old school bookstore, if you can imagine, where kids are hanging out and reading and parents are, it's just a pretty remarkable place. There's not a lot not everybody kind of would say the 50s and 60s were fabulous days in America, but there's a whole lot of that time period that we really love. And this has been very much a look back to that time. Our kids we call them free range children. They are out on their bikes. They are away from their homes. They're able to interact in an environment that really feels a lot like we used to live.
So Rob, tell me a little bit about what your role is in the development. What do you do every day?
So as the president of the development company, my job is to kind of take the vision of our chief visionary, our primary investor, and to deliver that in all areas. And so for me, it's been a heavy role in planning, in design, in quite frankly, project management, the construction of homes, every detail that makes this place work. I was for a season probably considered the mayor, probably a dog catcher and sheriff, and we've grown up past those days. Fortunately, we've got some more help in that regard. We're not a municipality, we're not a city, even though we call ourselves a town. We're part of the city of Fayetteville, Georgia, and so we get our services there. But I would say for me, it's probably 100 decisions a day about small, different little things, all that kind of play together and matter if you're creating an authentic place that people will fall in love with.
And so how did this come together for you? How did you get involved? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, so me personally, I did not have a background in this and probably would not have done this if I had understood fully what it takes to build a town. The request really was for me. I was in the music industry at the time and running an artist that many of you would know in the country space if you follow country music, and quite frankly had been involved in nonprofit work and helping people figure out how to do great by doing good, by setting out from the beginning with a purpose-driven, kind of mission-driven objective, and then applying that. So whether it's music, entertainment, the nonprofit space, or in this case, town building. And so was asked to join the team and quickly fell in love with this idea of placemaking that could potentially transform lives. And I would say it this way: could the built environment, if it's really designed well and great programming and activity that happens in it, the hardware and the software together, could they cause people to live better lives? And for us in particular, this industry tells stories on a really large scale. And the theory is that if people live better lives, they'll tell better stories. And so it is an investment in people's lives that we see every day, very, very positive returns from that.
So how's it going right now? How's vacancy look, and is it difficult to attract people there?
Well, I'll tell you, it was incredible for the first 6 years. This last year or so, almost 2 years, has been tough since interest rates went up and people are challenged. Nobody's given up their 3% loan to take out a 7.5% for a new home. And I say nobody, there are some. So it's slowed down a bit for us in that regard. But our homes are selling. We are now for the first time have homes on the ground. When I say that, not very many, but they were selling as fast as we could build them. They're selling at 3 times the local market. You can get a much larger home on an acre or 2 acres or 5 acres around us. But people have really responded to this sense of community, of walkability, of sustainability. And so that's gone really well. Everything is fully subscribed in our retail. I have no empty spaces. And that part of it's gone really well. And so much so that we were falling forward from this originally film idea into a couple of other areas, into sports and entertainment, live audience entertainment. We're building an entertainment complex as part of the city. And then U.S. Soccer Federation is headquartering their national training center, their first time to ever do anything like that in soccer. And they're headquartering it right here associated with Trilith. So sports, entertainment, and media coming together in a fun way.
I see. Are these residences, are they single family detached? Or are you doing multifamily? What's
yeah, we're doing it all. We've got 750 single family homes that also include a series of townhomes, but they're fee simple, and then 600 multifamily. In the residential area, you've got townhomes, you've got tiny homes. We have our version of tree houses that we call canopy homes. So our smallest home is 375 square feet. and then all the way up through to custom homes. Probably our largest is probably 10,000 square feet. So, and everywhere in between. I would say very intentionally designed to mix all of that housing together in a way that, like cities and towns used to develop. This is not a subdivision, right? It's very much a town. We have multifamily directly across from single family homes, which is really not done in most places. So it's really democratized housing. You can have a tiny home next to a custom home. And although it's been a challenge originally with our banks getting comps and them understanding what it is we're doing, they're used to the neighborhoods, the 500s, the 700s, and the 900s. We don't do any of that. We mix it all together, and it's been an interesting exercise.
And so what's in store for development upcoming?
Yeah, so we've got another 350 homes to develop. Again, it's probably at a little bit slower pace than we were, but it is moving. We are doubling the size of our town center, and so we're doing another 350 multifamily over ground floor retail. And then probably the biggest thing is something we call Trilith Live, where we're bringing live audience entertainment to Georgia. So Family Feud was filmed here. Judge Steve Harvey was filmed here in the town in our soundstage that we have right in the property. So that has kind of inspired us to build two very large live audience stages and all the VIP rooms and green rooms and support, and then a 3,000 seat or 2,200 seat auditorium, performing arts center, a luxury cinema, and basically taking what it is that's created across the street is production. And in this case, it's live audience presentation to the world. It will be a regional, if not a national gathering spot for live audience.
I see. And those regional visitors, are they coming in? How far are they coming from?
Yeah, so we see this whole thing working as 5 audiences that we have: the people that live here, the people that work across the street, the people that are within a 10 to 15 minute drive of us. That's the third. And then the greater Atlanta area, which see us as a destination. And then we've got people literally coming from all over the world to see what we're doing here. So that 5th one is kind of our tourism piece. You put all those together and you've got a formula that will support a town of 4,000 people with 500,000 square feet of retail and commercial.
And so how are you telling the story and how are you getting the word out?
Yeah, it's been interesting. Certainly social media has played a big part of that. We've got people that come from literally all over the world, and so we're pushing it out that way. We've used some of the traditional mediums, and we do use, our traditional Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, to get the real estate message out. We've been carefully curating the retail such that it's a very much a one-on-one kind of procuring and curating that kind of Main Street retail. We don't have any and have not approached any regional or national chains. It's all I would say just your Main Street retail.
Right. Bespoke. You're looking at bespoke, artisan, and specialty folks.
Absolutely. And we actually created what we call our culinary council to establish what it is that we wanted to do. It was a tough duty I had to serve on that. We had to go to places and test the food, meet the restaurateurs. Really tough duty. I think I gained about 20 pounds, Jamie, during that process. But what we ended up doing, which I think was pretty interesting, is that we ended up investing in that person who was maybe a second or a third person, executive chef or sous chef in a restaurant who was looking for their first opportunity. And we have several that this is their first chance. And so we invested in them and have made that work. It's been a real lot of fun to watch these people go and grow. I know that you've got a huge interest in economic development. And so there's been a huge lift for our city and our county with Trilith. It is by far the largest thing in our area. And it's raised property values. It's brought jobs. There are other businesses that are co-locating around us. In fact, we purchased an additional 2,000 acres to kind of develop around us. We're working right now to create what in some states you would call a TIF, or in our case, it's a TAD. We have parking decks that we need to build and infrastructure that needs to happen for this to go and grow.
Tell me a little bit about the TIF and what your thoughts are there.
Yeah, so I think the infrastructure that we're looking to develop that are really hard to support in a typical pro forma, especially with what funding streams look like right now and the cost of money. So parking deck, trails and paths, a path system, which we distinguish our paths, which are 12-foot wide, typically concrete or asphalt, mobility to move people on bicycles and electric vehicles and et cetera, golf carts, and then trails, which are much more green. So that infrastructure is what we've created this TAD for. And for those that don't know, typically a TIF or a TAD is a district that's been established where you take and establish a baseline of value, and those taxes continue to be paid. It doesn't change anything for the taxpayers within, but the additional tax revenue is used to invest back in that infrastructure, usually for about a 10-year period. And so it allows you to then to engage and put money back into something that's going to grow.
And just to give me a sense of things, how big is the community now? How many people are there?
Yeah, so we've got about 1,700 people or so that live here. We'll be about 4,000 when we're fully built out.
Great. Rob, this is a question I ask all my guests, and let's play make-believe and imagine that I've handed you a magic wand, and you can use your magic wand to promote the vitality of Trilith. What would you use your magic wand for?
Well, can I do more than one thing, or is it just one?
Unlimited.
Unlimited. Well, I think the first thing I would do is is go big and solve our unity issue as we have in our country, so that we come together in a way that I think we would all be happy living together, because it's the kind of environment that we're trying to create here. If I can't make that happen, I would want to do it here. That we talk about the fact that ultimately all politics are local. I don't want to go deep into politics, but we also say love is local, and so we can love the people that are around us in our community. Now, I would love to bring interest rates back down, and I know that historically they're not as high as they've been. I lived through 19 and 20% interest rates a number of years ago, but it sure would stir things for us a little bit. So I'd love to see that happen. I would say that on a really large scale, we're hoping that people tell better stories to themselves, about themselves, and to each other. And so I'd probably center on that, people living better lives.
I love it. I love it. Rob, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a fascinating conversation.
Well, my pleasure. And thank you for the work that you're doing in spreading the message about growth and development.
Hey, before we wrap, tell us a little bit about how we can keep our eyes on Trilith, and you in particular.
I tell you, Trilith.com, Trilith.com will take you to a website where you'll see the Trilith Studio, the Trilith Foundation, something we call the Trilith Institute, and also the town at Trilith. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and you'll see all the activity and fun and quite frankly, beautiful things. And then come see us. We do offer what we call the Trilith Experience, and it's a tour that you can take. You can get on a 24-passenger golf cart and see the studio and see the town and learn about what it is that we're doing. It really is designed to inspire creativity and inspire people to dig deep into that side of their life that is untapped as it relates to creativity and inspiration.
Well, I am super inspired. I love the vision that you have there. Wow, what a fabulous community that you guys have been able to develop.
Well, check us out. Come see us.
Great. Well, and to our listeners, thanks again for tuning in to Decoding Downtowns. I'd like to also thank Vistity for sponsoring the podcast. And until we meet again, keep exploring and innovating in your district.
Thank you for joining us today for Decoding Downtowns. If you've enjoyed our podcast, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's brought to you by Vistity, the leading geospatial visualization platform for data-driven decisions. Stay connected, stay informed, and let's continue to shape the future of our cities together. Until next time, I'm Jamie Schwartzman.